ஆசை யாரைத்தான் விட்டது? அம், ஞானிக்கும் ஒரு ஆசை, அப்பனுக்கும் ஒரு ஆசை, அம்மைக்கும் ஒரு ஆசை. ஆசை யாரைத்தான் விட்டது? இங்கிருப்பவனுக்கு அங்கு பறக்க வேண்டும் என்ற ஆசை, அங்கிருப்பவனுக்கு இங்கு பறக்க வேண்டும் என்ற ஆசை. ஞானிக்கு கூடிய ஒரு ஆசை இருக்கின்றது, தான் ஞானத்தை அடைய வேண்டும் என்று. அப்படி பார்க்கையில் ஆசை யாரைத்தான் விட்டது? அது ஞானிக்குள்ள ஆசைதான் மிகவும் விசித்திரமான ஆசை. அங்கே அவனுக்கு எங்கிருந்து இந்த விசித்திரம் வருகின்றது? அவன் ஞானத்தை அடையும் போதால் அகோர தாண்டவம் செய்வான். நாங்கள் ஹிந்துசியத்தை எடுத்து பார்த்தால் அதில் சிவபெருமான் இந்த உலகத்தை அழிக்க வந்தார், அழிக்க முயற்சித்தார் என்று கூறுவார்கள். ஆசை யாரைத்தான் விட்டது? மனிதனுக்குள்ள ஆசைகள் எத்தனையோ விதமான ஆசைகள். கல்யாணம் செய்வனுக்கு கல்யாணம் செய்ய வேண்டும் என்ற ஆசை, கல்யாணம் செய்தவைக்கு பிள்ளை வர வேண்டும் என்ற ஆசை, பிள்ளை உள்ளவர்களுக்கு காசு வேண்டும் என்ற ஆசை, காசு இல்லாதவருக்கு காசு வேண்டும் என்ற ஆசை. இப்படி எத்தனையோ விதமான ஆசைகள் மனிதருக்கு இருக்கு. ஆனால் நாங்கள் மனிதர்களாக வாழ்வதற்கு ஆசைகள் மிகவும் முக்கியமானது. நாங்கள் ஆசைகளை திறந்து விட்டால் ஞானியாகிவிட்டோம் என்று கூறுவார்கள். ஆனால் ஞானிக்கு கூடிய ஆசை இருக்கின்றது. In the Adam and Eve, he speaks about desires. The desires come from, he mentioned it as a desire as a snake. If you eat the fruit, you will feel a little bit shy. Then that desire would come in. The desire would be described as snake. And even in Hinduism, it speaks about fruit, where Ganesha and Muruga, they fight over a fruit. I thought it was a fruit of knowledge. So Parvati takes the fruit and give it to Ganesha. So he gets really angry. So he leaves. And then that's when he starts traveling. And he never stopped traveling. When we cannot fulfill our desires, then frustration, anger form from it. A person who's not able to control their emotion, Sometimes you have to be angry. Some people just hard-headed. You tell them, no, this is what I want. I'm trying to achieve that. You don't need that. If you don't get angry, you cannot achieve that. But all of it happens because of the desire, the will to fight this life. If you don't have that desire to live, desire to go on with your life, so you need to have desires in your life. All these desires, the poor man cannot have too much desires. His desire is fulfilling the food, basic necessity, the clothes, the food, roof over our head. Our struggle in this life ends start with fulfilling these basic needs. And before we know it, we are dying even without fulfilling these basic needs. Our frustration, anger, everything forms from this basic necessity that we have to meet. We cannot fulfill our basic necessity. Even in Canada, we are struggling to meet the basic necessity. If you ask for fulfilling your basic necessity, is it too much you're asking? But we born and we die without with this basic necessity. That's our struggle. That's where our life ends. Our form of life is we cannot fulfill the basic necessity. We are angry, frustrated. We have a right to do drugs. We have a right to smoke. We have all these things we have. We have a right to do that. I just had a frustrating day. I'm trying to get to work or something like that. I had a bad day. I can just puff a few smokes. I should make it all right. So all this, anger and frustrating, this and that, everything forms from desire. And that is, if you don't even have that $2 to buy a bus ticket, you cannot go on. You might think, I don't have desire to live this life. I might not have children or relationship, right? If you cannot be basic needs, you cannot. People say, you're a responsible adult. When you have children, you would have at least basic necessity met for your children, at least. If you cannot fulfill those basic necessity, I cannot. If I cannot feed myself, I cannot go on and take another responsibility for a child or somebody else. But it might make it okay. Somebody might have, like, you might have $2, somebody might have $3 to put together, you would have $5. You can co-manage it. But is it a responsible thing to do when I cannot even fulfill my basic necessity? But does it mean our life have to start and end? See, blood is coming from my mouth. Does it mean I have to start My life has to start and end in this cubicle, so-called cubicle. What is the cubicle? That you get married certain age, you have children certain age. But if I don't have the financial obligation, financial needs met, do I have right to have a child? I cannot. I cannot be. Yeah, it's maybe it's a man's job, or you can say that man and woman together they can fulfill the basic needs of a child. So our struggle starts these banks, all these institute and all these people, just making it really tough, really tough, right? To even meet your basic needs. Your life starts. You start. Your mom or you're conceived and you brought into the world. You are surviving. Maybe you might have food for one day. You might not have food for another day, or you might have food for breakfast or lunch, but you might not have food for night because you cannot afford it. You will depend on your parents until maybe 10, 12 years old to guide you. Then maybe you might find other ways to fulfill your needs. But our life, these banks, these institutes, they don't want you to think outside these cubicle. You even think, I can afford a house. They are here to break your dreams. You are tired waking up from going from one job to another. You don't have another job. You have to do two jobs to meet the needs of your children. Your basic struggle is to like fulfill. You just want to coexist in that cubicle that they have designed for you. You even try to get yourself out of this cubicle. They have a small space for you that's like all you have to put your feet somewhere, hands somewhere. If you ask, you're asking for too much. You're asking for too much. But this all comes from desires, right? Can you overcome these desires, even though they are basic needs? Can you overcome these basic needs? That's a question to ponder. The humanity's greatest struggle. Can you eradicate poverty? What is poverty? You cannot meet the basic needs, right? You cannot fulfill your basic needs. But if you have desire for something else, you have desire for technology, you have desire for this woman or that man, is your desire valid? Somebody's judging you. Can you just tuck it somewhere else? You're asking too much. Is it not? How to live your life with the minimum. This seems to be the fancy words of the rich. Fancy thing, They don't have to worry about tomorrow. They have enough money for clothes. They have enough money to buy the food. But you have to think about tomorrow. It's like a sheet, bed sheet, small sheet. If you move, the sheet would go away. It moves away from your leg or feet. It's like a very small sheet that they give you. Is it for 2 people, 3 people? You have to be naked? Is it not? Are you asking too much? Now that's a question to ponder for today.